Hello, hello. Welcome back to the 10th episode of the Heal Hot Girl podcast. This is Jess, your wellness bestie.
I'm Samantha.
And it's LB.
Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
We are back, episode 10.
Insane.
Major 10.
That's actually like
That's
a
a
little
good
bit of a
number.
milestone.
Yeah.
I feel
It
like we
is.
need to like take a moment for this.
Should we celebrate?
Let's cheers.
Yeah.
No, seriously, let's cheers to that.
Salud.
Yes, we just
Salud.
big cheers. Big 10th episode. I mean,
Wow.
Cheers to y'all.
For
yes,
real.
and cheers to Legacy House.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Definitely shout out to Legacy
Definitely
House.
shout out
And
to
a
Legacy
big
House.
shout out to Akil at Legacy House,
Yeah.
who has been with us for 10 episodes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So thank you
Send us
for
some from the
taking the
start.
ride. Yes, with us. And yeah, this is a team.
Yeah.
Shout out. And to our makeup artists,
Ooh, yes.
Definitely a
Kidding.
makeup artist.
10 episodes.
She transformed me today because let me tell you something.
Our makeup artists, and just us, you know, for pushing through and sticking to the game plan every single Wednesday. We all are responsible for something on this pod. And so it's dope that on top of our 9 to 5 and our day-to-day, responsibility, one thing that we have done consistently thus far has been showing up for the pod. So a big thank you to you, Sam, and to you, LB.
And to you,
And to you.
Jessica. Listen, let me tell you that half of any of this wouldn't be possible without Jessica, because everything y'all see online has Jessica's handwriting on it. Like, she has touched every single clip you see. She edits, she does the social media, she does all of the branding. So, like, all of the, like, compliments that we've gotten about the pod, like, I mean, the content has to be good too,
Yeah.
but
No, we are
like
the content. Y'all
the
are.
marketing around the content, like,
God.
baby, that is you. Somebody came to me the other day. She was like, I want to know how to launch a pod, and I'm like, you need to talk to Jessica. I didn't
No,
launch
listen, like we said from the beginning, she came with the rollout plan. She came with like literally decided like I'm gonna be a engineer and a producer and just
Yeah.
like downloaded systems she's never worked with because there's just no way that I was
Onboarded
doing
Alyssa
that.
onto a project management tool.
I have not looked at that
Asana.
thing. I mean, if we're being
Asana.
honest, I haven't looked at Asana since week 1. I mean, one thing about me is like she tried real hard. Like I knew it would be like little reminders and stuff, and I'm just like I just don't do well with like small things like that. It's really
Yeah.
bad, but like I probably need a secretary in life because I like little details. Like that's why I have you guys because like I just.
So funny.
I saw that whole checklist she sent me. I said, "Oh no!"
But
That's the cool part of this podcast is like we really each bring something different to the table, whether that be the social media posts, creating the agendas, uploading them to all the sites. Obviously, we work in tandem, but
We do.
I really think that we each really have a specific, something different
Yeah.
that we bring,
For
which
sure.
has been like really
Oh,
awesome.
100%. I think it's also allowed us to kind of like do the piece that we like to do. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I wanted to task myself on the social piece and see like
Yeah.
what happens and
Yeah.
where we can go and like
Thank
but the
baby
content
Jesus
in
for it.
itself is stuff that like gets curated. The only reason I'm able to do X is because we're producing. And so yeah, I'm excited that everyone has been super receptive about it. And it's really up. Like, y'all, we are almost at 500 followers. Okay, you listen back to
crazy.
episode 1, we
We
were
had
at 60. And to be at almost 500, and we're talking about, we launched April 12th. Okay,
Yeah.
it is May.
What, 6 weeks maybe?
Yeah, and it's just growing. Our
Yeah.
TikTok following is growing. So I'm just super happy that the world is like really receiving, what it is that we're putting out, and it's only getting better. We're so much more comfortable behind the bike. Just this is just becoming
Yeah.
so
We'll have
much
like
more
random
organic.
things. We'll be like, oh, it's a pod idea, or like that's a
Yeah.
pod idea. So we get inspiration from everywhere.
For sure.
And yeah, I think we've gotten a lot more comfortable, and we look forward to these weekends that we come and shoot. We see our friends, we see our family,
Yeah,
and I think so far it's just been a really dope experience.
for sure.
In some ways, it's like God knew that we all needed this, like in a weird way. Like, because at the time when we started this, you and Alyssa were still living in DC, like not together, but I mean, like
No.
y'all were
Yeah.
together in DC. But then right before we started potting, you also left.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? It's like we're really all in different cities, and it's beautiful that, like, we've got this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I
come back
say it
to.
all the time, the commitment, though, that the level of commitment that we have to this when we really work full-time jobs, like on top of this, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
require our attention and to push through, even this weekend especially, because we all had like crazy weeks, tiring weeks, and then to like get in your car, Sam drives 10 hours, I drive 6.5 hours, Jess has to make it on a flight to travel to get here, and then it's just
To show up. It's a
yeah,
lot,
to show up for it and to be consistent with it, because it's very easy to not be.
And
But we made a commitment.
And I feel like it really shed light on just like pod. Like you see all these podcasts, you see these interviews happen, but like to be on the other side where we're actually like actively like producing this, it's like, okay, there's so much. It's just the fruit
It's
of the
our shit.
labor.
It's really
And
our
that's why I
shit.
said from the gate, like, there's no instant gratification here. I think for me, what has felt instant is being able to like see this idea be produced and for people to be receptive and to like comment, interact, and like it hits, because it's not that we're like we're not the first people saying some of these things, right?
Yeah.
But it hits different, you know? And I think one of the things that people have definitely shared has just how authentic our pod feels and how relatable. And that's really, we're coming from a lens of like, we are 9 to 5 people. We work, you know, we have responsibilities, we have different upbringings, and our journeys are all different. But it's just been dope to kind of give that light on our own and be able to share it to the world and challenge ourselves in this way.
I feel like we always knew there was something special about our group chat,
For sure.
you know, and that's why it took so long. We're like, well, what is it? What are we going to be? Are we going to be a podcast? Are we going to be,
For
It
sure.
was like nailing that down, and we're even still navigating this whole thing. Like we've said kind of in previous podcasts, this is like a whole brand division. This is just like the podcast is a part of it, but there's definitely more that we want to do. I was talking with my brother about it yesterday, because one of my good friends, when we were getting ready to launch, and I told him we still don't have like a full vision, I want to say. Like we have an idea of what we want to do, and he was like, you can still fly the plane while you build it. And like that has stuck with me this whole time, because I feel like, especially for me, I'm a Virgo. We've said this before. Like I'm a perfect, like we like things, like I don't like gray area. I feel uncomfortable when I don't know exactly what's going to happen next, or what, like, I don't like those type of spaces. So it's been a little bit it was challenging for me at times to be like, okay, but what is this? Or like, what are we going to do? But to just let it all go and just let God take it over and just let it transform itself is really what I'm looking forward to seeing too, is kind of what we come up with. And
y'all know what I'm most excited for?
What?
Stickers.
oh my God, that's
Oh my gosh, when it comes down to
I
merch.
literally,
No,
yes,
literally.
merch. Yes. Listen, the first thing we're going to have is stickers. I promise y'all. We are going to have stickers. Because we were talking about, you know, prepping for the live pod.
Stickers so bad. Like one right here. HHG.
No, we definitely need some
man.
stickers.
Yeah.
Because, and I was saying that when I was talking with my brother recently too, because he was like, so what exactly like is this? And I was like, he's like, no, the podcast is cool. And I'm like, well, it's a brand. It's a wellness brand. And I was like, we want to get some merch. And I was like, but we have one thing we have to do first. He's like, what? And I was like, we have to get stickers. And he was like, stickers?
My God.
Yeah,
I was like, you
Jared.
don't understand. Sam has been asking us for stickers for like a year and a half, and we better get these.
All I
damn
know is
want a
that the
sticker.
city of Nashville is about to see so many like random places, stop signs, HHG. Like I'm telling you,
Literally.
yoga studio, heel hop.
There's
girl,
gonna be
like,
stickers everywhere,
for sure.
all over the United States of America.
I can't wait. Coming to a city near you.
Literally. Well, shout out to us. Shout out to you all who have been listening and tuning in.
Really
for
taking
the last
the journey
10
with us. Like we're really
seriously.
like a big HHG
It's so
family.
dope, 100%. And even like, oh my God, our YouTube subscribers. Shout out to everyone who has just like been listening to the pod, subscribing, sharing, because this is what's gonna keep us going. We're going. The train's moving.
No,
Okay.
regardless, definitely for
Yeah.
sure. But it's great to have everybody
On board.
supporting us
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
praising our content and really, like I said, just kind of being on the journey with us and watching it all
For sure.
unfold.
Yeah, and stay tuned for the announcement for, I guess you could say, I mean, it's already been announced, but we will be having a live podcast at Bofo. Ooh, hold on, let me.
Get that right.
Lindsay is gonna like. Excuse
Lindsay's gonna
me,
kick us off the
miss.
bill. If we say the shit wrong, he's gonna be like,
Are you kidding? No, we will. Oh my God, stay tuned. We will definitely be at Boflo Festival, Music and Arts Festival, this coming August, and we're actually having a live podcast there.
So last Sunday in August, I believe the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned. We will be putting some posts out. Please join us if you can. Block your calendars today, but it will be in Buffalo, New York.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out what exactly. Live is like, whew, no editing, y'all. We're going to have to really be on our A game. Like, there's no takebacks on the live. So we're going to have to really make sure we
Keep it interesting.
Yes.
Keep it engaging.
Yes.
But I think we could do that. I think
agree.
that comes
100%.
naturally.
I agree.
Okay. Well, let's kick off with a card.
Shall we?
Can we put someone on the hot seat?
Sure. I can put someone on.
Absolutely. I would love to put someone on the hot seat.
Fight amongst yourselves on who that might be. While I...
Rock, paper, scissors, Sam?
Yeah.
Let's go. Ready? All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ah!
Sam's on the hot seat.
Ooh. Sam's gonna be She's going to be practicing her...
My rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Yep.
I want to say my poses, my rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, one thing about Sam, let me tell you something, y'all. She's onto something. She's just never comes unprepared to anything. So,
Thank you, honey.
literally, yeah. When it's time for our photos pre-pod, are you kidding? She has like 8 different poses ready, locked in. She's like, Jess, this is what we're doing. Let's execute. LB,
Y'all
this
help
is what
me.
we're doing.
Yeah,
Execute.
we gotta help each other hit these angles.
Honestly,
real quick.
y'all might be laughing because I was laughing, but I'm telling you, that shit works. We hit those poses like, ooh. I don't know.
Yeah, it does something.
I would have never thought that, but one thing about Sam, she's gonna research the shit out of something. So like, I would have
She
never thought that. And now
did. My girl was like not playing. First time she pulled up and she had a freaking 30-second reel about poses. I was like, okay, this is. But it makes sense. Let me tell you something.
No, it really
I
made a
never
difference.
thought to consider like posing. Like let me
Yeah.
just. There's people. The
I feel
information
so
is
uncomfortable
there.
posing. I'm like, what do I do with
And I do
myself?
the
I'm not
same
used to
shit.
the
having
heading
a
was
camera.
posing for awkward people. That was
I literally do the same thing, and you know what?
Yeah.
You're helping us be more versatile
Thank you.
with our posing, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Because
it goes step by step. We had to watch them a couple times.
No, we do. She'd be like, "How is
She was like, "No, you got to put your foot over here."
She's like, "Your hand back, lean."
She's like, "No, this one in the back. That foot goes in the back."
I
Look,
love it.
y'all. Okay, anything that I don't know, I will find out.
You will
okay?
find out. She's
I
gonna
will
execute.
figure it out.
She's gonna get real comfortable. It's the first and last time she will ever be uncomfortable behind anything. Okay.
Okay. What are we talking about today? Oh, we're doing.
I
that.
love
We're
this
doing it.
one.
Oh,
No.
I'm on the
You're
hot
on the hot.
seat.
Oh, you forgot.
Darn.
Wow.
I was trying to keep it going.
We got an
I was
act
trying to
bad
keep it
person that
going.
just joined the studio.
Hey, girl.
Big energy.
All right. Who's helped me love myself more?
Ooh,
Wow.
that's a good one.
Wow.
I feel like y'all might know the answer if you've been listening to the podcast. It is my therapist.
Okay.
It is
Aw.
1000% my therapist because, yeah, I think. I mean, there was so much of the self-talk, like we said last episode, that went on in my head, and it took like her sort of calling me out on a lot of the things. Like she's the first time that I'm not a person who just sits down and like opens up my feelings, right? I'm not just like, hey, but like, and so I actually struggled for a while to even like talk about my feelings because it feels like some of my problems are so insignificant to the bigger things happening in the world. So yeah, my therapist has really taught me a lot about like self-love. I think that's what therapy does for you though. It like challenges your current belief system and like why you're doing the things you do.
And to find certain things to embrace about
Yeah,
yourself, maybe
yeah.
that you wouldn't otherwise.
yeah, like things that I would like get super upset for, like my reactions to things. She's like, so what? You know, like you're like she's just so calm and cool about it all. And I'm just like
And
so, yeah.
validating
Yeah,
yourself
she,
of like who you are.
Yeah.
And being okay with that.
Yeah. So yeah, my therapist has helped me love myself.
What's one area that you feel like since therapy you've been able to kind of nurture?
There's a lot of areas. My whole life has changed, like a Genuine song.
That is not where I thought you.
Yo, she just said.
Yo, that's a banger though. If we're being honest, like I almost just broke out in song.
Literally though, like my whole life has literally. She's just like, again, just like. I can't even tell you where I was 2 years ago. Like I was in a place of like not believing people when they said I did a good job at things that they paid me to do. Like I'm like, they are just saying that. And again, she was like, why would they just say nice things to you?
Yeah.
Like you're not that.
That's
like
so interesting.
you're a nice person, but you're not that great of a person that people are just like trying to flatter you. Like
That's very true.
so it was like an evolution. It started with some of the smaller stuff, right? And then we've worked our way. I mean, I think one of the things I could say, and I don't know if it's related to your question. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but one thing she's helped me with so much is articulating my feelings. Because I think one of the problems I have where my reactions come in is like, I just feel so overwhelmed by feelings that I'm like, you know, everything's just overwhelming. And she's like, all right, well, and I can't have trouble explaining myself because I don't have the words to explain. So like, she's helped me find the words to like articulate my feelings. And like, that has unlocked so much for me in terms of being able to connect with people. So
That resonates so heavy because I think one of my biggest things that I had battled when I would have my therapy sessions is literally explaining how I feel. I can't even put it, like, I can't tell you. I'm just
upset. I'm just this.
I feel off.
Yeah.
And so 100%, one of the things that, like, in one of our episodes we had shared is, like, giving your feelings a name and how we explored the feelings chart and whatnot. But I agree, like, definitely I feel that I am becoming more comfortable with articulating how I feel, and I definitely have seen growth in that area 100%. So that's a big one, especially for people who struggle with sharing that piece.
So
that's dope.
Anyone else? Just me was on the hot seat?
Yes.
Okay.
You lost, unless you want to go another round. You want to go another round of rock, paper, scissors?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's do it. Ready?
Oh,
rock,
shoot,
paper,
I'm
scissors,
here.
shoot.
Ah!
Sam's gonna keep playing till you fucking lose, sis.
One more?
Oh,
Okay.
fuck.
All right, I'll
well,
be
that
on the
was a
hot seat. It's
tie.
okay. That was cute.
This is almost like the same. Okay.
Wow.
Is this you?
Yeah. Look. Okay. Miss thing.
Nobody could talk to me in this green pantsuit right now.
No,
so I just hope
literally.
everybody
Miss Sims.
listen. Ooh, I like this one. Okay. When was the last time I felt most in my element? What was I doing?
The last time I felt most in my element.
What were you doing?
Eating those nugs.
Yo, you're funny today.
Listen, one thing I'm gonna do
With the honey mustard.
I'm gonna do a little happy dance. In my element, I really. This is a little bit hard because the gym is a piece, but like, I feel this part. I want to. I don't even know how to answer this question, but where I feel that I am most in my element really is when I'm away. For real. Like, for me, it's like being on the beach. So that to me is like, and the reason why I say that most in my element is only because I'm just forced to just kind of soak in. Like, I just like the sound of the ocean and the sun hitting me. And just that to me is like so peaceful. And I don't always get to have that, right? So I don't know. Honestly, most of my life, that's a toughie.
And I wonder if it's too because like there's no life, there's no demands, right? You can truly just like be in your element. You don't have, there's no one calling. Like when you're on vacation, it's like no one's calling you.
Yes.
You don't have to answer these calls. You don't have to be at work. There's no like real like life responsibilities kind of come off you for a little bit, and you really just get to be.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, there's something really grounding about all of the like elements you're in, right? Like the sand on your feet is calling your attention, right? Like the sound of the waves, like the water.
No, you're right. I didn't even think about it. When you do think of like all the earth, water, sun, fire, you know,
it's like
it's true.
You're surrounded by all of it.
And I feel most grounded. Even when I was working with my spiritual healer, like we were doing one meditation, she was like, and water just came up, like ocean. And I think that's the best way to answer is just more so I'm most in my element when there are no demands because I'm so in tune with myself and just what it is that like I want in that moment and really just soaking in. I really just, when you have that time to just kind of soak in and not feel worry and not feel pain and just like being, like
It's peaceful
Yeah.
too.
I want to be a peaceful.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Well, thanks. I'm glad I'm off the hot seat.
Those were. I mean, that wasn't
No,
that.
that was a
bad.
good. No, that was
I
beautiful.
think those were some good.
Good starter questions.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
love them.
So today we are talking. What are we talking about today?
Intuition.
Intuition. Trusting
Your
that
intuition.
Where do we kick that off?
When was the last time,
You trusted your intuition?
or went against it? Last time you either trusted or went against it. I can go first.
Yeah.
I'll kick it off.
Please.
Well, last time I went against. Here- I will say, honestly, for me, most recently has to do with dating.
Yeah.
I mean, it really.
You
most
know,
of
it really
does.
is just has to do with
Yeah.
dating. It's like,
Yeah.
it's, you always go against it. I'm like,
Yeah.
Always.
and I shouldn't say, like, the last time I experienced this, I literally felt it in my heart and soul and in my little gut that told me, girl, don't do it, or do it, but do it at your pace. And I literally went against every single grain. And really, I think the hardest part with intuition is discerning which part is like the truth to some degree. Like, are you leaning from a space of guidance to some degree from God, or are you leaning from a space of just your heart, or you're just delusion?
I heard something that might blow your minds again, and it was.
I mean, you're a prophet today, so like honestly,
Thank you. His
whatever
name was
you have to say,
actually.
I'm here for
What
it.
was this guy's name? It was.
Not prophet. Okay.
Fuck, I'm forgetting his name. I want to look at Humble the Prophet. Actually, I was gonna say prophet's in his name. Humble the Prophet, and he was saying,
Disciple you are.
"How do you?" Thank you.
Okay. You see what I mean? It's the green. You know what? I'm here for it. Let's go.
So listen, he says somebody asked him like, "How do you decipher what's intuition and what's God?" And he said, "There is no need to decipher because you are God and God is you. God is in you. So that voice is God's voice, and we question it, but we don't need to often."
But also yes, I resonate with part of that. I think the other piece is we try to almost like negotiate with some of that. You know what I mean? Like, or make it to, well, this is the voice, but delusion. I'm gonna vert it to the way that I want it and how I want the situation to be. So I don't know. I feel like sometimes the heart could be a little misleading too. And I feel that, like, yes, there's part where like God sends us, we have the wisdom and the knowing, but that can be deceitful too. Like, I don't know, with guidance, the devil can also intervene with that too, and like flip the script. And now you're over here looking at a damn fool. Looking a damn fool.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, I think when was the last time I went against or I trusted my intuition or went against it? Honestly, a lot of stuff with work, like in my business, a lot of that is intuition based. Of like even having to like make the leap of like there was a knowing that kept telling me like it's time, and I was like, "Are you sure it's time?" And it was like, "It's time." I'm like, "God, are you sure?" He was like, "It's time."
Yeah.
Right? And so everywhere I looked, there was like affirmations of that. But so I think in a lot of like the risks I take now, it's because I've learned to just like when I let go of what could happen, like, and when I release control and you just sort of trust your intuition, it's worked out for me like 10 out of 10 times. So I don't know. It gets stronger every time you listen to it too,
100%.
right? So
You got to stretch that muscle in order
Yeah.
to even know what it exists. What about you, Abby?
Well, no, one thing I will say is I remember when I transitioned, the job that I have now, I was really pissed at my old job one day, and I was searching for jobs, and I was like, I specifically remember when I went to go apply for my job, something told me like, this is where you need to go next. But it's also funny because maybe I'm a prophet, but it's also funny because when I pulled up, it's the school I worked at before my current school. I was at for CPS. Like I had to go to that school to see a kid or something. Or no, not even that school. I think it was a school next door. But I remember getting a weird feeling when I was in that school too. And I was like, this feels like, I was like, I don't like it here. I would want to be here. Boom. Then 4 months I was working there. Then my school, not the job I have now, something just kind of guided me in that direction. And I was like, something is telling me like I should apply here. Like this feels right. And I did, and it's been up ever since.
Yeah.
So when I look back sometimes on certain times that I did trust, I don't even want to say I trusted it, but I just had a gut feeling like this feels right. Because when I took my old job, I remember being like, this is going to be a shit show. Like I remember the feeling like that. But I was like, I wanted to get out of my old job so bad that I was willing to take the risk because I was like, what could be worse than this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not, and I can always go back to that. Like one thing about CPS is there will always be a job for me. You know what I mean? So that's something that I can always go back to and fall back on if I absolutely had to. So I was like, well, shit. I mean, worst case scenario, I'll just go back there. And sure enough, it was a shit show. And then I transferred to this job. I was like, okay. I mean, for the most part, it's going well. So I think I have gut feelings about things most of the time. And again, it's whether I listen to it or not. But I can't think of a time recently that I really like went like hard against something.
Yeah, agree.
That
I have
was
two
like,
really good examples that just came to mind of going against your gut, and it had to do with, I think, the two most recent drives, or like some of the recent drives that I did back from Buffalo when I was like, I didn't want to leave. There was something that told me not to leave because I was already leaving today.
Yep.
Something told me to stay, but I left anyway, and I got pulled over and was, and then like two different times where I was just like, it was just me in the fucking Kentucky highway and like my dogs, and it was scary. You know what I mean? But both times I was like, my intuition said, don't leave today, just wait until tomorrow. But I was like, oh, I really want to get home. Like, I'm just anxious to get home. So I would leave anyway. And then like those two times, something happened on both of those drives. And mind you, I've driven back and forth from Buffalo to Nashville so many times over the last 4 years and never had an issue. And so for those two times to
back
have
to back,
back
too.
to back,
Sure.
and I had bad feelings about both of those trips. So those were times where I didn't listen because I was just so anxious. And again, I was like, oh, I really want to get home. So I'm going to go home. But my intuition both times said, don't do it.
No, it's real shit. I feel like for me, the biggest milestone was definitely like leaving DC. That was like the biggest piece of just like like the chapter that I'm on of trusting the unknown has to go based off of that intuition and well, really God leading me, but also leaning into my intuition and knowing that like these things don't just happen. Pieces don't just fall. You know what I mean? Yes, you can be prepared for certain moments, but like I'm genuinely trusting that I'm being guided and I am where I'm supposed to be at this moment, and that leap. And I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like, but I know that I'm on that path to the life that I'm envisioning for myself. So,
No, I do. I feel like most of the times when I go against, and especially, and Jess and I were talking about this recently about kind of going against your intuition with dating, like because you're rationalizing, like we rationalize certain things, right? So she's like, we're talking about something, she's like, well, what about this and what about that? And I'm like, girl, we could do this all day. You know what I mean? You could rationalize all day, but at the end of any time that especially when it comes to dating, because I would try to maybe date someone out a little bit different, like out of the box. And I'm like, this shit ain't gonna go good. But
if he's an Aquarius or a Gemini or a Scorpio, run.
I'm compatible with
Are you?
Geminis. I'm a Sagittarius.
Bella's looking at us. What are you?
Aquarius.
Oh.
I think I'm actually compatible with Aquarius, Gemini, but I'm also Sagittarius though. So like Geminis are like I think Geminis are my polar opposite. So Geminis and I actually get along really well.
If you're an Aquarius,
I'm
a
an-
Scorpio, or a Gemini.
No, but
running.
I'm like, I have tried, because sometimes on paper people look good, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, even though in your gut you're like, this doesn't feel right, or I don't know, you're like, you're looking at your loose leaf and you're like, I don't know.
He checks the boxes.
You know what I mean? Like you're like, okay, well, okay. But deep down you're like, nah. And like you, every time, like you could go for it. I told her that, I was like, girl, go for it. Like at the end of the day, like
We're going.
She was literally driving there, but like,
Oh man! And here goes my friend Dom cheering on Delusion.
no, and that's what I mean. And I'm just like, yeah, she's just driving there on her way to Delusion. So no, but I'm just like happy as a clam though. You guys see her? She's smiling like shit on her way to fucking
I'm like,
Delusion.
Alyssa. She's like, yeah. I'm like, Alyssa says X. Dom says Y. Oh.
And then she's still driving. But I'm like, but I feel like I'm old enough at this point where I'm like, girl, just don't do it.
No,
like
no, facts.
the amount of times that I've tried to rationalize people or situations or something went deep down my gut, and every time that bitch is gonna come right up your throat. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think just getting comfortable, just trusting it. And it might not feel organic in that moment because maybe we're being selfish and we want that. It's more of a want or a desire and not really what we need or what's good for us. And I think that you have to kind of overcome that like moment or like maybe what you think it could be, or if I give it another chance, or if I talk to him about this. And I do think in some cases relationships can be improved by having these conversations. I'm talking about your gut feeling, and everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
That
I'm not
emotion.
talking about trying to repair something that maybe needs to be talked about or what have you. I'm saying when you're in your gut, like, no, and you're
and Jessica's state of delusion.
crossing the bridge
Yeah.
of your nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Beep beep.
beep beep,
Knocking.
So,
Hello.
Yeah, I think it's just.
I agree. I think also the big piece with just intuition in itself is I think we go against it when we're not as comfortable with ourselves in certain areas. So even if it doesn't have to be dating specifically, but just in general, like, you know, we'll end up leaning into the piece that will offer comfort, even if in that moment we're kind of like, this isn't really aligning with the spirit or how I would want to continue on in that, whatever the case may be. But intuitively speaking,
Yeah, no, it's important.
at this
to
point,
trust your
God's
gut.
leading me.
Yeah.
So whatever I do,
As he should be.
it's because God's leading me.
No, we're definitely
love that.
walking in like in faith, and like you said, I think that intuition comes with like knowing yourself, and it comes with trusting yourself in your decisions.
Even if that decision, no, you're good. Even if that decision impacts somebody else, you know what I mean? Like, that's just
You're always going to disappoint somebody and just don't let it be yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, how many times have you disappointed yourself to save someone else from disappointment?
yeah,
Like,
we're done with that.
God.
Don't save her.
Everybody's, they agree, okay?
Cole
But
said
yeah.
it,
The people here,
And
but
I'm tired of saving. I'm not saving nobody.
well, today, Ashley again, doing my makeup, she's like, you know, she recently had a conversation with somebody that she was, you know, seeing, and she was like, I felt bad for like putting a boundary up, and she's like, why did I feel bad about putting a boundary
Oh,
up?
she thought you were her therapist.
Yeah,
For real.
I mean, hello, we talked
You
about
are
this. This is
you
really
are a
what it becomes
therapist.
across.
No, it is.
And I'm just like, no, because why? Like, it's such a crazy concept because it's like you're sacrificing yourself for someone else, and it's like, what? Why do we do this? You know, I'm just like, it seems so simple to say, but why is it so hard to do? Why do I have to sacrifice myself for your comfort? It's just like that's so crazy that we have such a hard time with like putting boundaries on people. She's like, why did I feel bad about telling him how I felt and what worked for me? And I'm like, girl, I don't know.
We all have that issue.
We do.
And it seems to be harder when it's someone that we're dating. Anybody else, and that was the thing, that was my biggest lesson. When I was in my last relationship, it was like, I put boundaries on everybody else. But the same boundaries that I needed to actually apply to my partner, to the person I'm day-to-day with, I didn't. And so, like, why is it that it makes it so much more challenging to do so when you're in a kind of partnership or connection and dating?
Another thing, too, that I notice about myself is I have different expectations for different men in my life. And I'm like, why do you do that? Why does this guy, he fucking choose his
Bare
chicken
minimum
wing
boys.
wrong and you're ready to drop him off on the 33 and then, like, on the highway, but then this other motherfucker could walk in with Like, you know what it's just
Yeah.
like, why do I allow different men, like men stand? And it hit me one day, and I was like, why do you let this dude get away with this and the other one gets
Yeah.
away with murder?
It needs to be 100% consistent and trying to, and that's hard. You know what I mean? Because I think at the end of the day, it's almost at the point where, like, to some degree, some women are just taking what they're getting versus like, you know, like, so this is he's only willing to show up like this in this space. Or you might be in a position, or I might be in a position where I'm only willing to show up like this. And so anything far beyond that is not it. 9 out of 10 times, like, not for nothing. How else? It's an act bad summer. So, like,
Act bad summer.
like,
Get on it. Step 1 is paint your toenails white, okay?
2 of us are there.
We're ready.
clearly I didn't get the memo.
No, but I think some of it, again, because I feel like so many of our episodes like intertwine together, but that just comes to like be fucking for real with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, stop lying to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I was lying to myself about certain things. Like, I wanted this person in my life, even though he's treating me like cold dog shit. You know what I mean? But like, I
Not
know
the
I'm
cold
coming
dog
real
shit.
strong with it.
We're like, damn. Like, the listeners are like, damn, girl, why are you
Triggered.
accepting? No, but sorry.
No, but it's true. Like, I let some people at that time, not anymore, but at that time, I would let some men just like drag me or like just not do for me the way that I would hold another one to another standard. I'm like, you're ready to nail this man to a cross.
Yeah.
And like, this other one's over here, you know what I mean? He'd go straight to hell. Like, why do you?
It's
Why do you
beautiful
do
to be
that?
on the other side, though, because let me tell you something. That
Jesus.
checklist, everything is, it's literally, what's the level, the thing that they use to level?
I think it's called a
I think it's
level.
called a level.
At this point, everyone got to give equal.
She gotta go to
That's
the
it. I do have to go to the hardware
too
store.
close.
It's the problem. It's an act bad summer. I'm not supposed to be at the
I do
hardware
think
store.
one of the things about boundaries, though, that I think that
Oh, 1 second.
and we'll let the train pass.
I thought that was someone's music. John said he might come up here. I'm like, if this is fucking John Boy with this loud ass music, I'm gonna fucking kill him. It's a,
Huh?
No, it's a train.
Oh, no,
We gotta let
train.
the train go
No,
by.
you go. We're good.
What?
What you did, Dom? With the hot auntie.
So I was gonna say about boundaries is one of the conversations I had with my therapist a while ago when it came to boundaries was I thought that if I set them once, that was it, and if you respected me and you loved me, you would respect my boundary. And I was like, and if they don't respect my boundary, then they don't respect me or love me. My therapist was like, it's not that black and white. Like, it's not their boundary, it's your boundary. People naturally test boundaries. And it's up to you to hold that boundary
And
every
to
single
maintain it to
time.
yourself.
It's not someone else's job to respect your boundary, it's yours. So that really, like,
Yeah.
Putting the accountability back on you.
Yeah,
Like,
every
it's not
single
it's
time.
not their responsibility to hold your bottom line.
yeah, it's your boundary, not theirs. Yours. You got to hold it. So,
But I think it's still like important to note.
people should respect your boundaries
Respect
for sure.
more so, I
Yeah.
would say. Like, if they really love you, then they will respect.
Yeah, but I guess her point was like just because they rub against your boundary a little bit doesn't mean that they don't have respect. Like, it could mean that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. Like, our natural inclination is to like push
Yeah,
against
push against
things,
them.
you know. So, yeah, that really, I don't know, just thought that
Resonated
was,
with you?
yeah.
I love that. Should we pull another card?
Sure. This is fun when it's not me.
Oh, wait, no. Should I pull a card?
No,
I
one
think
more.
Jess should pull a card.
Look at her. No, go
got-
ahead. Go. No,
Obviously,
you already
I'm
have
on
it.
getting-
She just doesn't want to lose in rock, paper, scissors.
You want to play rock, paper, scissors? Because I'll play you rock, paper, scissors.
You want to play? Let's do it. All right, come on. Oh wow, she leans forward, y'all. Okay, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Boom. Ha! Let me get it ready.
She said she knew you were about to do the
Did you?
scissors. She watched you the whole time. You had scissors every time.
She's starting trauma.
Wow,
See,
look
I'm
at her.
starting shit on
Alyssa,
set right
trust your
now.
intuition. What does it say?
No, I'm just, honestly, I pay rock, paper, scissors more than any adult should, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That's fair.
Are the kids got you playing?
Yeah.
It's actually my favorite game to play. Like, if you're kikiing with somebody or just like spending quality time with them, I think it's just the greatest.
Jess's love advice. This should be a
Rock, paper, scissors.
I think it's
on
the
my
great-
next date.
We're gonna
we're
go
do
to
a
break
rock,
with
paper,
Jess.
scissors.
Listen. It's the best way to like get things done on your behalf to some degree. Like getting like pineapple out the fridge or like a juice or water. Like, yo, want to play rock, paper, scissors? Yeah. Loser has to go do these things. So I
Yeah.
think it's just the greatest thing.
That is a great tactic.
You can play these with the
Yo,
kids
she tried
too.
to rock, paper, scissors me, I think, to go get her shoes out of the car one day or something.
No,
What did you...
it's definitely for some like food out the fridge.
You
or
wanted
some
me to
shit.
go make some...
I think it make me something.
It was a little
like
crazy.
Tea. It was
Yeah.
something like
No, it was not tea. It was something. You were like, I think it was making dinner or something. You were like, after she said she was going to do it.
I tried that. I did try to do rock, paper, scissors. And
I was
looked at
like,
her and I was
what?
like,
This doesn't work here? Okay. What can I offer to a romantic relationship
Oh,
that
God,
I'm most
I'm so
excited to
dating.
give?
Oh.
Okay, you want something else? All
I'm
right,
sorry.
the
No, I'm
drama.
kidding. That's just me
Wait.
being extra. All good. What was the question? I didn't even let you finish.
Yeah, throwing your hands up with your head back is crazy.
Okay, do it.
Okay, hold on. We're just gonna go with that one because no, I like this one actually. How has my confidence increased with age?
Oh, I feel that my confidence has definitely increased with age because I'm being forced to some degree of like doing things that are making me uncomfortable. So like each part of my life, I'll give example like for work per se, having to lead certain calls that typically like when in order for you to like grow within your field, like you're just kind of put out there and you're kind of tested to some degree. So like in work, being able to like take on certain projects or lead certain projects has really like helped me build confidence within the workspace. When I think about dating or just even with myself, has definitely been like the gym has definitely helped. Not only because of the physical aspect of it, of just like seeing the results of it, but just even my comfortability within the gym. I was very much reserved and very felt like people were looking at me or just very insecure about it. And just even being able to like lift in front of men. So having to really, I think my confidence there stemmed from dealing with people who were really, well, one, like professionally, like required to like, working out was a part of their thing, but like having them bring me to like their space and being around men, I feel like has definitely exuberated a sense of confidence there. So different parts. I think even in the church, going to church by yourself, I think that in itself is like this sense of, I don't know, I think doing anything by yourself, anything that creates discomfort is going to help you be more confident in that area. So that
Conquering things, it sounds like, increases your confidence. Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah, like becoming really good at something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What am I really good at?
Your job.
You're really good at the social media thing.
Social media.
Girl.
Yeah,
Acting bad.
I'm trying. Honestly, this new catchphrase, I literally just
I
went
blame
there
Sam.
after
It's
24
really
hours.
Sam that brought this
Seriously,
into our
I'm
lives.
like, all of a sudden, now you're acting
was
bad,
sending
Jess?
us,
Like, no, actually.
Group chats and our songs and like
Acting-
all kinds of
no,
things.
yeah.
Said it's an act bad weekend.
No, literally, I blame Dom. I blame Dom, too.
No, really. Dawn she's part of this. But I think another thing that we could talk about or start to maybe wind down with, one thing that we haven't touched on really is the staying grounded in times of transition. And like, I mean, just, I think is a perfect segue from what you were just talking about, moving through different spaces at work and moving through different spaces at the gym. Moving through different spaces of life can cause a lot of like anxiety. It can cause a lot of unsettling feelings. It can cause a lot of just unresolved feelings of things that we haven't dealt with yet. So what do you advice or like what do you guys do if you are, and it doesn't even have to be in times of transition. Maybe when you just feel out of control a little bit, or you just feel not grounded, because I find that it actually happens to me a lot. And it doesn't even have to be a transition, but some days I'm like, ooh, I'm off today. Or like even for a few days, you know, and nothing necessarily triggers it. It doesn't have to be a transition, but when you're feeling out of your element, like, does anyone have rituals or routines, or like what do you do when you just don't feel like yourself?
Sunshine is my
Direct sunlight.
I'm a direct sunlight plant. So sunshine is probably the first thing that I do when I realize that like I'm struggling. Like I just go sit outside. Like, and that's something I've been doing. I've been starting my mornings that way actually because it's really nice this time of year. And I'll just go sit outside and drink my coffee and sit in the sunshine before I like sit under fluorescent lights, even if it's in my own house, but like sit under a fluorescent light and like work for 8 hours. Like sunshine is, and like going out into nature to that same, like that idea that you said of like being at the beach, like again, like being around things that like call your attention back to where you're supposed to be, like the present moment. So like being out in nature, like sometimes I'll go for a hike. But really like the biggest tool that I've had that's kept me grounded in the past few years besides therapy is yoga. And there's different styles, I think, for whatever. And it's working out too, but I think yoga is really like when I feel like cranky and achy and like my body is just like, I go to yoga, and it's not even like the yoga that I do is it's called yin yoga and restorative yoga. Those are my two favorite styles. I do other styles too, but the yin and the restorative really force you to slow down. And instead of being more about the physical exercise, it's about the mental exercise of like, can you sit with your thoughts and your feelings? All those uncomfortable, can you just sit with it? And so it forces you to like, I don't know, someone said once like yin yoga is like challenging your reaction to discomfort. So like that for me is one of those things that like, and it forces you to be out of your head and in your body. And I stay in my head. So anything that gets me back into my body. So working out is one of those things. So I think that same thing with nature. Like it gets me out of my head and back into like what's around me. So that's one of the things like what I lean on. And meditation is really great too if you practice it consistently.
I will say, like, sometimes you can also be in spaces where, like, you can't get to the certain things that will offer you, I guess, like, the safe haven. One of the things that I'm trying to strengthen is just more so, like, for example, if I'm at work, if I'm in the office, and I'm in that period where something is a little bit off, I can't hit the flight mode. You know what I mean? I got to go home, or I got to go to the gym. I can't do any of that. And I feel like one of the things that I'm trying to, like, really practice with is, like, sitting with, like taking a moment privately, sitting with what it is that I feel, closing my eyes, saying a prayer, and sitting with what it is that I'm feeling. Because what I'm realizing is that I'm not going to always be able to have those, I guess you can say, resources or external things that I can do to help distract or relieve some of that. Because while I'm at the gym, there's times where like I can shed some tears while I'm lifting because something is hitting, but I'm also not really addressing what it is that I'm going through. It's more sort of external release. But at the end of the day, when I go back home and I'm laying in bed, I gotta still sit with what it is that I'm feeling with. So I'm trying to practice. I don't have an exact method to help ground yourself, but I think maybe just sitting with what it is that you're feeling in that moment, closing your eyes, and just a quick prayer, and building that, getting comfortable with that piece, so that everything else that you do externally just ends up landing the way that you need it to. Yoga class, you might have a client meeting that you can't get to the yin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, but there are some methodologies that yin and restorative yoga has taught you that you can implement while you're home or in the shower.
Like a breathing
and
exercise,
it could be little
for
things,
example,
a breathing,
right?
yeah. What about you,
Yeah.
Abby?
Yeah. I think that for me, when I'm, to your point, when I'm at work, I will say though, it doesn't happen to me a lot at work. Mostly because I don't really have the luxury to like, okay, let me backtrack.
Yeah.
Because it does happen. It does happen, actually. It just happened this week. And one thing I've learned is like, it's okay to take a moment for myself. A lot of times I would just push through, even though like 5 minutes, I need like just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've started, I know I talk about bringing my lunch, which I'm very proud of, but sometimes I like to go, like sometimes I'll be like, go get a coffee. There's a Starbucks not far.
Yeah.
Or, just take a walk to my car and a walk back. Like just to get out of the building sometimes. Just like allowing myself a break. Like, it's okay. It's like, I used to like pride myself in pushing through. Like, I'm a bad bitch. I made it through. And it's like, you don't gotta do that.
Yeah.
Like, you could just take a break.
Facts.
Like, it's okay to just take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and come back. And that's at work. It really doesn't happen too often, because one thing that's really been beautiful about this job is I have my own office, which is the first time ever that I've had my very own office. Usually they're like cubicles, or like the weirdest part about CPS was that we were all in one room together. Not all of us, but we would be in teams, and like, but they were like, it was a former, I don't know if it was a school, what that building was. It was something. So the way that it was set up was like each team was in a room. So there'd be like 5 desks in one big room, which was like okay, because we work in a very collaborative environment, because we're, working with kids, and like a lot of, coordinate planning, or like, it honestly was a decent environment for that type of job, because there is at times can be a lot of,
You have cellmates.
teamwork. Yeah. You need people that you did you say cellmates? Damn, I guess I kind of did. To be honest, we were
Podmates.
definitely we were definitely in jail for sure.
Oh.
No. Yeah, no, that job was fucking jail. No, but like it kind of worked, but you had no privacy.
Yeah.
Like there was no privacy. Like,
No bad day.
No.
No
If
such
you
thing.
were having a good day, they would be like, the person right next to you could see everything. So one thing about having and even once we moved offices, we had cubes, but they were like sectioned off, but like all I had to do was pop my head out and I was in the next person's cube. So this is the first time like in my career that I've had my own office. And that's been such a game changer to like be able to like take 5 minutes in my own office, or
And
like
close
lock
the door.
my door. No, lock it. It doesn't matter if it's closed, because children have no boundaries. So like I said, we go through it, but my door still opens 600 times a day. So when I need a break, like I lock it. And sometimes I just don't answer. I turn my light off and I just
Wait, I love it.
yeah. And I'm like, they're like, hello. And I'm like, I'm not in here.
She's like meditating like with God. She's
I'm
like,
like, okay. Because I know if it's an adult, they'll call me. Like, they have my phone number.
Yeah.
So if someone's looking for me, they can call me. Like, so anyways, so that's that at work. But at home, also, one thing I try to do is, like, put my phone down and, like, leave my phone somewhere and just be present in whatever I'm doing at home. Whether that's, like, taking time to play with my dog. I might even sometimes take a walk without my dog. I don't really recommend it because emergencies happen.
you're without your phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A
I was
walk
like,
without
without
my dog.
Rosie.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. I'm like, wow, you left her.
Yeah, like a walk my dog without my phone. Just detaching from my phone is one thing that I've been working on too, to like just like from the outside world.
Yeah.
Because there's so much noise that can come in from all the apps that we're on and emails and just so many things. That one thing I've been trying to do more is just like take time away from my phone. And also I really love SVU, the show Law and Order. So that's my other like comfort show. Like if I'm going through it or I'm having a bad day, I put my phone in the other room and I put Olivia
On
Benson on
SVU?
TV. Yeah.
I love it.
Wow.
I love that. Well, you guys, I'm here for it. Thank you all for joining this week. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Episode 10.
Episode
Thank
10.
you. I
We
can't
will-
believe we've already done 10.
Yeah. Remember to like, follow, subscribe.
And download.
Please,
Y'all better
download
download this
Please
shit,
download.
okay?
Please download.
We'll see y'all next week.
All of y'all.
Bye.
I'm talking to y'all.